New subject, NBA All-Star Weekend. Denver, you're the NBA guy.
Yeah.
We're throwing it up on the screen. The rosters that, I will say, I have to just come out and say it. We, maybe you just agreed with me because we were, not the clearest of mind at the time, but we thought that it was just going to go back to the East-West format, and then all of a sudden, a couple days after the
Yeah.
who was all announced as eligible for the All-Star game, they announced, yeah, we're doing the draft thing again. So we look like complete idiots back in that first All-Star announcement episode. However, the teams have been drafted. There's a lot of injury exemptions on one side. Very interesting. Let's see it. Let's hear it. Just you take it from here.
I'd be shocked if Team LeBron doesn't win. That's my first stance. Team LeBron looks insanely good. I was surprised that they replaced Devin Booker with Mike Conley today. I think that was the biggest shock to the system. Maybe it was yesterday. But that's a huge thing. Honestly, I think it's going to be a fun game. I think Team LeBron wins. I don't know if it's so handedly because they're,
The All-Star game is always just close because, it's just a glorified pickup game, right?
Well, yeah, but now they have stakes in it. Now you get something if you win. It's not just for fun anymore. You get a bonus if you win. You get money now. Everybody likes money. But I think it'll just be fun. I won't be watching it. It kind of sucks. I have something else I'm watching. I'll talk about it later. But I do expect Team LeBron to win. Team Durant is cool. I think all of the nods to Zach LaVine. I'm glad he's in there. I'm glad Mike Conley's in there. A couple different names Domantas Sabonis is in there. He's been playing lights out this year. I'm glad the Jazz got nodded with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, even though they were the last two drafted, and that's
we'll
kind of
talk about that in a
Julius
second.
Randle.
I'm gonna ask you about that in a second.
Julius Randle, I'm glad he got the nod because he's really carrying that Knicks team right now to a winning record.
Yeah, they're fifth in the East or something. We'll get to that too.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's cool that there's a lot of different names this year, or a lot of big names still. Enjoy it while we can, because I assume this will be one of LeBron's last. I assume in the next couple of years he'll finally be done. But yeah, that's my choice on this game. I don't know if you have it pulled up or not, but
we'll get
actual there. 3-point contest and stuff. So, all right, you go.
Give me some credit, man. Come on. Yeah, I agree with you that in name value alone, it's crazy that, one thing I will say, I think Durant did a pretty good job of drafting, but it got out of hand a little bit. LeBron he's a veteran at this by now, right? He's drafted each of the last however many All-Star teams, and he got away with highway robbery with the starting lineup in terms of name value, I would say. But it's just gonna be it's fun if you're into that sort of thing. I haven't watched an NBA All-Star game in a few years now, just because, quite frankly, it's not at the point in the season where I care to watch NBA ball yet. This is March, man. You know what happens in March. We'll get to that more too. I love it. But it's good entertainment if you're a really big NBA fan. I won't deny that. I've watched it several times in the past. It is what it is. But we'll move on, right? However, before we do that, I totally lost myself already. I am really glad, as you are, that Mike Conley is finally an All-Star, because I truly believe I'm in the camp that this is kind of ridiculous that it took him 14 years to get a nod. He was one of the handful of best true point guards in the NBA when he was in Memphis there for a stretch, and he never made an All-Star team, and that I just think that bothered some people. Obviously it didn't keep me awake at night, but he deserves this, right? There's no way he could go through a career that he's had and never make an All-Star team. I think that would have been ridiculous. So I'm glad he got the nod to replace an injured Devin Booker. That is fun. We've now heard it. Denver mentioned it. the drama that in the actual draft, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert were the final two picks, even though they are on the best team record-wise in the NBA so far, is very interesting. LeBron gave the answer that, to paraphrase if you haven't heard it, no one plays with the Utah Jazz when you play 2K. No one ever has, even dating back to the Stockton Malone days. So why would they get picked? I think that is a total cop-out. That's just my thoughts on the whole thing. I think just at the moment, it's bad timing because this draft took place right after, I think, Donovan Mitchell's comments after a loss to Philadelphia about the refs screwing the Jazz this last week. So that just landed poorly in my opinion, but I'd be interested to hear what our resident NBA expert has to say on it.
Here's what I think it is. I think it is LeBron and Kevin Durant saying, hey, you might be the best right now, but you're not the best around. Like, we are the dominant.
You got to prove it first, kind of thing.
Yeah. You meet us, say, in the Western Conference Finals. LeBron saying, meet us in the Western Conference Finals. And if you can hang with us, then I'll give you where your credit's due. But right now, we're in a kind of a shitty situation with the pandemic. You're winning without fans, even though Utah is an incredibly hard place to win games. Like, people don't realize that. Utah is actually really hard to win games at. So, I think it's more of a wink and nudge, like, hey, you guys say you're the top dogs. We're going to treat you like the bottom of the barrel right now. Meet me in the playoffs and we'll talk again, kind of thing. I also just think it's how do I say this? I think it's petty on, like, Durant's part per se that he didn't draft, like, Donovan Mitchell earlier. Because here's the thing. Donovan Mitchell's been playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right now, Donovan Mitchell probably would have been I probably would have drafted Donovan Mitchell before I drafted Jason Tatum this year. Jason Tatum's really good, but Donovan Mitchell's been playing insane and carrying that team to a great record. So that's just my view. I think it's more wink and nudge stuff. So we'll see how it plays out.
That truly is your favorite phrase today, isn't it? That wink and nudge shit.
Wink and nudge, man. I think I heard it somewhere today, and I just been saying it all day.
Just been spouting it. All right, as Denver wanted to get to earlier, he didn't give me my credit. Well, here it is, boy. We got all of them.
Oh.
We'll start out with the skills challenge. Has anyone ever even watched this?
I don't know.
Like, that's not an indictment on any of these 6 men. These 6 men are 6 of the most talented basketball players on planet Earth. It's just like it does not have anywhere close to the amount of glamour as the 3-point contest or the dunk contest or even the Rising Stars game for that matter. I think I've literally watched this one time, and that wasn't like the whole thing. It was literally just watching like 1 or 2 guys to see what it was about. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Next channel.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the skills challenge personally. Like, okay, I get it. The point of it is to see who the most skilled player is. But, like, how do you compare? Like, how does Julius Randle get into this with Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards to ever play? Like, does it make sense at all? If I'm just gonna pick a winner because I don't want to rant on this too long, I think Chris Paul wins.
I think so
but
too.
I could easily see like a big shock in like Domantas Sabonis winning.
Well, I think
because
the only thing I know is I think the one year I watched it, Sabonis was in it like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, he's been in a couple years.
And he like got second place because he like missed the 3 at the end, and whoever he was against hit like a crazy shot. Like, just a weird format. We won't get into that. So like, the thing about this is I don't think it is really a good showcase of the most skills or the most well-rounded player in the NBA. It's just a weird format to me. We're on agreement with the Chris Paul thing, but It literally could be any one of the 6, and I would not be shocked. Straight up. Bang.
What a weak dunk contest.
Thank you for saying it so I didn't have to.
Yeah, this is bad. This looks bad on the NBA. This
For anyone who hasn't heard it, right? The dunk contest is only 3 men this year instead of the usual, is it 6 or 8?
6.
And then the 3 dunkers are Anthony Simons, who is a very young guard for Portland, who I didn't even know could dunk. You know, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, right? But, you know, it's like, what? This man is... I've never seen him dunk in a game, and admittedly I don't watch many Portland Trailblazer basketball games, but... And then we got Cassius Stanley, who... I love you.
I don't know who he is.
What?
I don't even know who that is.
Denver's the resident NBA basketball expert here, and he doesn't know who he is. Quite frankly, I do not mean to insult. I can't believe Cassius Stanley is on an active NBA roster. I think I would have thought he was in the G League, straight up. And then the last one, and perhaps the only person I could have ever guessed out of these 3 that would actually make a dunk contest is Obi Toppin. However, I love Obi. If anyone talked to me last year during the college basketball season that was unfortunately cut short due to COVID, right? I was a freaking huge fan of Obi Toppin and his Dayton Flyer basketball team. I thought they were going to go deep into March, and no bullshit, I went onto their basketball schedule and put every one of their televised games in my calendar so that if I was available, I could watch it. No bullshit. So I'm a big fan. However, he's a freaking great in-game dunker. This is not in-game dunking. This is really weird. Like, you have to be a show-off type dunking. And I just don't even know if this is like a style of stuff that fits him. Again, this might be the first time I wouldn't even want to watch the dunk contest.
Oh, man. It's... Okay. They need to restructure the dunk contest to make it, like, where I don't have to, like, hear that Cassius Stanley... If Cassius Stanley was doing crazy dunks in-game, I would say okay. If Anthony Simons was doing crazy dunks in games, I would say okay. And then if Obi Toppin was doing just the most ridiculous things, I would be like, okay. I'm not like that with any of these guys.
Obi Toppin is a great in-game dunker. Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Sorry to trigger some Obi Toppin love feelings. Like, I feel like I opened up a can of worms by saying that. Like, no, it's weird. I don't like that there's 3 people. It feels so short. I get that it's during the halftime show, which
is this going to be really literally one round of like 2 or 3 dunks each, and that's it?
I think the halftime show's like 30 minutes this year.
Well, shit. I'm going to go back and pick Team Durant then, dude. There's chaos, absolute chaos. The dudes are going to cramp up at halftime. They're going to be in there for 40 minutes.
Like, I don't... Like, how many rounds? Like, yeah, it only has to be like 1 or 2 dunks. Like... And
because isn't the 3-point contest at halftime too? Like, they got to fit in both.
It is. That's why I'm like, it's gonna be like 30 minutes long.
I'm totally content to just move on from this if you are.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use my platform for this year's dunk contest to say that Aaron Gordon has been robbed twice. Bang! I said it. 3-point contest could be good, though.
This is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so this is before the game.
Oh, it's before the game.
Which is weird because there's several people in this game that are in the 3-point shooting contest. All of these guys.
Every single. Is Jaylen Brown's an All-Star too?
Yep.
All right, cool. Then yes, all 6 of them.
Sure, yeah. My pick to win this is Steph Curry. why would you not pick Steph Curry?
Right?
Like,
Like I get that the 3-point contest is about as volatile as long as you're putting NBA players in it as the skills challenge, but I'm gonna pick the
like,
best shooter on earth.
yeah,
And just if he loses on a day, he loses on a day, right? But he's the best shooter in the history of the world. So it'd be a little bit rude and kind of dumb to not pick him. But low key in a format like this, I could definitely see Levine taking it as well.
oh really? Wow,
I think
that
he's a
would be
very streaky shooter. And so if he gets hot, like he'll freaking rip the net off the rim kind of thing.
oh damn. Well, we'll find. I mean, I won't find out. I'll be doing something else.
Yeah,
but...
right. Well,
like, I'm not watching the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, ugh. All right, and the last thing, the one thing I don't even know, is this game even happening? Like I've
No.
seen like they announced the rosters, but like there's not even a game, is there?
No, it's like I think it's just like
An
Top
honor
Shot.
type thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Top Shot announced like the Rising Stars and everything. You know, looking at it, like looking at the Rising Stars game, the NBA is in pretty decent hands. Like after because like I always see this. I've been seeing this a lot recently on my Twitter where it's like KD's like 32 and LeBron's 36 and Russell is 32. So like it's coming, you know, in the next couple years, like a lot of retirements are gonna happen, and so like to see Ja Morant and Tyler Hero, Anthony Edwards has been playing really good. Rory Hachimura, I can't ever say his first name, is good. You know, Dort's fun to watch if you've never watched him play. One guy who's way exceeding my expectations is LaMelo Ball. Like LaMelo's playing stupid good. Like if you go look at his stats, Dirks, he's actually playing really well. Like they're gonna be there, but it's an honorary thing. It's cool. That's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this up here in case anyone was super interested in it. And then this has nothing to do really with All-Star Weekend, but this would be a great opportunity to just react to kind of where we are at this point in the season. Obviously, we talked about the Jazz not too long ago. They've been on a little bit of a cold stretch. We'll see if they can get that ship righted. I think the craziest thing to me is if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that the Lakers wouldn't be in the top 2 in the West at the All-Star break, I'd have been like, so the Clippers and the Nuggets? Maybe? And it's the Jazz and the Suns. That's just wild.
I'll tell you right now, the Suns are way overperforming, but like you saw it in the bubble last year. I don't know what happened, but ever since the bubble started, even without Chris Paul, the Phoenix Suns were playing lights out.
They're on a heater.
They are on a heater. But you have to take that with a grain of salt because like the Lakers would probably be the second best team right now if AD wasn't hurt, you know. See, the Lakers have this mentality now moving forward where it's like, look, we want you healthy when it matters. Like we'd show our dominance, you know, if we can, but if you're even remotely banged up a little bit, you're sitting out. And that's what's going on with the Lakers. The Clippers are the Clippers. I don't really have anything to say about them because it's either they're playing lights out or they're not playing at all. Again, that's what it is with the Clippers. Same thing as last year. Either they're playing as hard as they can against whomever they're playing, or they're playing lackadaisical and they don't do anything. Trailblazers are where I expect them to be. I thought the Nuggets would be probably like the 4th seed, to be honest. I'm happy to see the Spurs. Spurs are kind of a surprise. But, you know, like, the West is still up in the air. especially with how NBA playoffs now do like the 8th and ninth seed game, you know? Like
Well, isn't it
it's
set? Isn't it 8, 9, and 7, 10?
no,
I think both the last two seeds are the ones up for grabs.
is it?
I think
Okay.
so.
As the NBA expert, I should know this, but I don't.
Jesus.
Um I know I'm the worst. But like there's still a lot of season left to go. It's weird to look at the Jazz being 27-9. Like that's a really crazy record for them.
On
And
the
even the
other
Suns
end
at
of
24 and
things,
11.
like this is not me trying to throw shade. I'm really surprised the Rockets are as bad as they are. Now, did I think they were going to be a playoff team? Probably not. But like they're bad.
They've lost like 11 straight without
Yeah.
Christian Wood.
Oh, is he hurt? Is that why they're?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that makes more sense. But like, I saw that the other day. I'm like, they're losing the how? Like their team's not that bad. I don't think they're bottom 5 in the league bad if they're healthy. But you know,
I mean,
it is what it is. On the other side of the world in the East, dude, the little bit of stuff I've seen, like low key, the 76ers look like they could be a little bit different than the
yep.
recent 76er teams. Like this team is like really good, but not in like a way that I think they're only going to be regular season good and then collapse in the playoffs. Obviously, that's yet to be seen. But this team, like they're a legit number one at the moment. Obviously,
Yeah.
you got Brooklyn and Milwaukee close behind, but I mean the 76ers are pretty decent. And if the season ended right now, Embiid has to be MVP, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
He's been playing crazy. It's so weird because like Embiid came in with so much hype, and not saying he hasn't played like well or like good even. He just hasn't hit his stride yet. And you get like Shaq. Shaq's been taking a lot of heat about how he's been criticizing talent. But like I think Joel listened to him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go work in. I have all this time. I had a lot of time last year with the pandemic, and I had a few months here to start up. Here's what I'm thinking, man. I think the 76ers make the finals. And I only say that because why they look so different is because their play defense. Their defense is tough, man. They have a great defense, and I think they can lock up the Nets. Like, they're lengthy, they're big. Like, Ben Simmons could probably lock up at least James Harden, especially this year. He's been playing lights out. Like you said, the Nets and then the Bucks, kind of expected. I'm glad the Celtics are finally hitting a stride. They were playing terrible. Then you got the big bad Knicks. That's crazy to see. And then what's weird is from 6 moving down is you're 500 or below.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. The East Conference is terrible. Like, that's why I'm saying the 76ers and the Nets are, I truly believe, going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. My pick is the 76ers. I just think they've had so much time to develop that they're going to outplay the Nets on one end of the ball. So, but yeah, it's just really weird to look at this.
I think the biggest thing for me in the East isn't even these top 3 teams just kind of looking like they're a cut above at the moment. It's the fact that I feel like the Knicks and the Hornets have overperformed to a pretty considerable degree. And then these two teams at 10 and 11, the Pacers and the Hawks, I feel have like way underperformed.
Well, and that's why the Hawks fired their coach.
Especially the Pacers, though, dude. The Pacers have so much talent. Like
the Bulls are overperforming right now too. Like even 16, 18, I don't. The Bulls are terrible to watch, man. They're so bad.
Anyways, that's kind of where we are at the All-Star break. That's been a lot of NBA talk. We spent a lot of time on this. I hope y'all found that enlightening, but I do believe we are going to move on now.